Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Facebook Live. It is the 1st of November, year 2023. Welcome, and let's move to the panel. Today, we have Patricia here, who is part of our core group of meditators. Good evening, Patricia. And then we have Hugh here, returning champion. Hugh, you've been a champion through plowing through your diagnosis and healing, bringing in healing into your body. So congratulations. We are so thrilled to no end to see you. Patricia, since April is not here, you want me to ask the question? Are you okay with that?
Yeah. Ask the question because, yeah.
If April comes in, then we can ask you a question, okay?
Sure. Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll put this question in the chat. I already put it in the chat, but I'm posting it again. Somebody said, if our source is the essence that is all love and God in the first place, how come we ended up with the challenge of physical body and ego to become awakened? If you want to start, Patricia, and I'll go tag everyone on the live. Okay, here we go. Thank you.
Yes. So that's a question from ego right there. This is a question that, as I see it, from ego trying to figure things out. And you really can't from the ego mind, because things in other dimensions, they don't make sense necessarily to our three-dimensional world. And the challenge of physical body is here, as I understand it, to bring us back to oneness. Because we are put on this earth, or we choose to be in that school of earth, to just be playful and experience different things, because the source, God, is creative and it creates. And I think this is just all the diversities to what it means to just be human and go through, yes, limitations of our bodies and transcend them. And that's the incredible power of the spirit. We transcend things during this lifetime, and we actually overcome the challenges of physical body. And in that moment, when we do that, we realize that we are not the physical bodies, that we are not ego. And this is why we need to have those challenges, to see and realize that we're not it. And that's where the magic starts. So this is all purpose, because what I would compare is like having a certain glasses. Let's say you have red color glasses, and you look through them, so you just assume that everything is red. So you have experienced it, but then you have to take them off to realize that, they're not you. This is just a perspective. So I think that having human body and human experiences is that perspective. So the consciousness is learning different things through, not that it needs to know, it's just experiencing through human body, through the perspective of human body in each one of us. And each one of us is different. But then we need to realize that all together with everything else, we are one. So honoring our bodies, learning that ego is not us, that this is just a condition that human every one of us needs to transcend in our experience, that ego. And if we all do it collectively, then we are getting close to that oneness. Just realizing what you're not, I think that's the best. That's what Eckhart Tolle, the presence. We are not our bodies. We are not our mind. We are not our physical, limitations. The spirit is incredible. So we are given in this human experience that contrast. And if we look for fulfillment through the physical world, it will never be satisfying for long because it's limited. Human body is limited. So the consciousness is trying to, through those limitations, shaken us to actually realize that we are not limited like the physical body. So I know it's silly when I speak about it right now, it almost sounds, for ego, if ego is listening, it's like, oh no, that's some bull crap right there. What do you mean? We are human. This is very human. This is very real. But then in simple moments of the presence, even when you yourself act and you don't know where you get the strength, or there is synchronicities happens, or amazing grace happens, like everything is supposed to collapse, and all of a sudden something turns so amazingly and everything is okay. And you're like, wow. On the practical level, on that that wouldn't even make sense. That's like, you would call it a miracle. But when you actually feel it, experience it, that's pure love. And that's, we are experiencing that through the contrast of limitations. Because even what's happening right now in the world, we were talking about it last time, cruelty, violence. But when that happens, also compassion happens. So many times the negative events are such good lessons for the transcending of it. So like April always said, on the bottom of everything, there is just love. There is the essence of it. But through that love, we are giving hardship, because the hardship is supposed to shaken us into realization what we are not, and being unified with consciousness, with awareness. I mean, realizing that that's what we are, and how powerful it is, and how magical. And each human being's lives, I think, has that potential. Some people will do it this lifetime. For the others, it will take hundreds of lifetimes. Some gurus said that we've been here for thousands of reincarnations, and it's this lifetime. For us, let's say it's 80 years or 90 years old, but it's just a blink of an eye in actually and consciousness, and the lifetime and karma's experiences that we choose to live. So if we believe in soul's contracts, we choose certain conditions, because that's the lesson we need to learn. So physical body, I mean, Hugh can talk about this because he's been through so much lately. So that challenge of physical body and ego, how that helped you awaken, because that's, you realize the transformation. Sometimes I think we realize that this is the biggest gift, that those challenges. Because if everything is just easy peasy, you just get roll into ego and like everything, you don't even question anything, because why? Everything is easy. The challenge makes you realize what you're really made of, what's your true essence, because you realize that you're so much more powerful than just physical body. I think that's it for that one. Sure.
That was pretty good.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Patricia.
Okay.
Grateful for the input. So if somebody says, if our source is the essence that is all love and God in the first place, they are just repeating something that they read somewhere. Because if you're saying, if our source is the essence that is all love and God in the first place, that means you have not experienced it. You have not experienced that essence yet. Because they're saying, if our source is the essence, if not, they would say, I know I experienced the essence of love.
Yeah, it's the
So,
question. Yeah, the ego.
they're kind of like, so the starting of the sentence itself shows that every human, like as soon as we are born, like the baby does not know that they are the essence in all love and God in the first place, right? Carolyn Myss says something like, or the Bible even references this, that we go through the river of forgetfulness, like before the soul takes birth, we go through the river of forgetfulness. That is necessary so that we can go through the challenges that are offered here on Earth School. So all this goes back to, I'll tie into all that you said, Patricia. Like, I'm going to mix in what Carolyn Myss says in Sacred Contracts, as well as what Dr. Eben Alexander taught us in one of the courses in year 2000 during the pandemic. Gracie and I had taken a course by Dr. Eben Alexander, who went through a near-death experience. And he says that, and even Carolyn Myss says the same thing, as our soul is exiting the body in a previous lifetime, it will go through a final review. And the final review will not be so much as you're reviewing your life, but you're reviewing your life from the other person's perspective. So I can already know what I'm going to review is I'm going to review how much I hurt my mother by how, I felt resentment towards her hitting me and the verbal abuse and the physical abuse. But I know I'm going to experience what was her state when I do my final review, when my soul exits the body, right? How did I hurt her? The different parts of whenever I live my life. So when we are doing this final review, is when we through this final review, and then we go to the other realm, and our guides and the people that love us, I mean the souls or the entities that unconditionally love us, all of us together decide what is the next lesson that we are going to learn, or lesson or lessons. And the best way to learn lessons is to come to Earth School. But then you're going to pick up your lessons. You're like Carolyn Myss says, right? I'm going to pick up that mold. She calls it like the archetypes that we pick up are like cookie. You know how the cookie cutter
Cookie
has a
cutters.
mold, right? Has a mold, but there's no shape to it. But it's just an empty mold. So we pick up a mold of wounded child. And I'm going to be, what do I tell you? Damsel in distress, right? Or victim, we pick up these archetypes, and there's 4 default archetypes, I think. One is the saboteur, the second is a victim, child archetype, and most of the time it's the wounded child, and the 4th is the prostitute. We by default have those 4 archetypes, and then we pick up all these modes. So just imagine you're picking up these energetic archetypes, and then you're going to say, your soul is going to say, I am going to take birth to this set of parents because they're the perfect set that will offer me some of those lessons. And they take me through life to offer me the exact lessons that I need to figure out these archetypes, or what Eckhart calls the conditioned patterns. So that's why we have to, the challenge of the physical body, that's why we have to take the form of a physical body, be born to a set of parents, and then we have to go through life to figure out exactly the first sentence, to figure out that we have, in essence, we are unconditional love, and that there's divinity within us by default, right? That's what we are here to know, that divine within us is flowing through us.
And that's very empowering that we chose this. We actually, it's not, everybody is right now saying out there, life doesn't happen to you, it happens
For
for
you.
you. So really think about this, or feel it, what it means. It's not empty words. There is so much power in it.
Mhm.
I chose this. You go even further. It happens for me because I chose this. Before I came here, I chose this because
Mhm.
what I need to grow. That's what I need to evolve. And if one person does it energetically, it kind of helps everybody. So each one of us is responsible to do it, because then collectively we can evolve as a human beings, as this form of life.
Mhm.
Incredible, because each form has that wisdom. And we are actually very, when you think about it, very privileged, because we learn stillness from trees, let's say, from nature, but they don't have the same capacity of changing, of actually moving and creating. They kind of, which is amazing, because they 100% the tree. They don't question it. They just be animals too. They just don't have all this ego. But for humans, wow, the mind, and it's like, I like how sometimes people talk about talking about human beings, that we are forms of life between animals and angels. So we have both quality, and depending, each one of us, how that's played together. So the angelic abilities of just making things just by thinking, and creating just by thought alone, just making things happen, or being in that very slow moving energy of animal, like just pure here on the earth energy.
You know,
So
I was just doing Tuesday. That was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. In the evening, yesterday in the evening, I don't have any commitments, so I went did a walking meditation since it was slightly warm. As soon as I finished work, I went did a walking meditation, which is we get 1 month after the retreat. We get 1 month of the available meditations that they offer during the retreat. So there's a walking meditation called Body Electric. And in there, at the very end, right before, y'all know, right? The walking meditation, he makes you walk, stop, do some saying. And then at the very end, he makes you lie down. So right before the lying down portion, he says, remember, you're the bridge between energy and matter. I was like, oh my God. That's what he's trying to get us to do during Body Electric, is feel the energy, that there's energy, and via the energy, and then he makes you feel it. Like he says, feel your feet on Mother Earth, right? Or some verbiage like that. And that's matter. Earth is matter, right? And we are the bridge between. That was so, so sweet. So let me go to Hugh. Hugh, you want to add something?
Yeah.
Just before Hugh goes, one sentence. We are from Earth, but not of Earth. No, or we are. No, wait a second. We are as humans.
We are off this work. Jesus said we should be.
We are of Earth, but not from Earth. Something like that. So our body is made of elements of Earth, but we are not from here. There is a soul that the
Right.
consciousness that's living in that body that's not from Earth. Okay, go ahead, Hugh. Sorry.
Thank you, Patricia.
No, I was just well, when you're reading it, like Kunia was saying, it was like it was found somewhere. As far as the first part of this question, it's assumed that that as far as all love and God, I mean, I guess we're with Eckhart is always godly is always talking about that inner being, the human being, us inside. We are love. We are. That's more, find your peace and being godly. But it's funny. This question was I was gonna have a question, and it's something like this, but it's like a little bit in reverse. And the challenge for this person of the physical body and the ego, as far as it becoming awakening, while the ego is always awake, as far as I'm concerned, it's about me being awakened to being conscious. It's being conscious is one of my. That's the challenge for me. As I become awakened, it's like an infinity of learning the awareness. So the ego is always there for me, always trying to get in and ruin it. I mean, I don't know if I'm getting that twisted up, but I can give you an example. What happened with me? I was away from this unconscious person for about 2 months now, right? And I think I went on last month gloating on, hey man, I don't react no more. I'm good. I'm like the all-star when it comes to reaction. I'm non-reaction Jackson. There's no way, So, and it was instantaneous. I mean, I will not react. Well, two months away from this person, I now go back in there. It's the first thing I did was react, and it was so used to being for 2 months being peaceful, not around this unconscious person, and I'm like, man, got me again. I just can't believe I fell for it. But really, my question is, well, what was going to be, and it sort of like ties in with this, is okay, if we're at peace, we're I'm in a very peaceful environment, and I go into a low energy environment. It's like I don't want to walk in with my guard up. What's so peaceful about that? You shouldn't have to walk in anywhere like ready to defend yourself when attack. There's got to be a way that apparently that I'm missing to. I want to be in that automatic pilot like I have been. I just don't know subconsciously I got my guard up or not. You sort of understand what I'm saying, or no?
What it is, Hugh, is we have to be. Eckhart actually has a dedicated talk called vigilance, right? And I take that very to heart, very seriously. We have to be vigilant at all times, especially like immediately, like the awareness in us, the presence in us should, the moment we go in a low vibrational frequency, right? It almost is like if you let's say if it suddenly got dark, then you have to become like highly alert, right? You have to raise your awareness to see things, and you didn't turn on the light. Just imagine how you have to use all your senses to try and see, like the bed, you have very faint light. You have to turn on all your senses, right? So what we have to learn, part of the presence practice is dwelling in our body, like the inner body. When you say inner being, is and that's why I did this walking meditation called Body Electric. One, I hadn't been out. We have like cold weather, like freezing weather in Texas, which is kind of unusual. And it has been raining the week before, so I haven't been out like for 8-10 days, right? Like walking outside. So I was like, it's time to go walk outside. So yesterday I did the walking meditation, but it's about dwelling in the body. Like the more you can walk, sit, stand, sleep, dwelling in your body, then what will happen is when you walk into the space, you go in inward, and you become very still, right? But this is a practice you have to do in this peaceful environment first. Where you are right now in this peaceful environment, feel more and more of your inner body, right? The more you experience your inner body, you will see that then you go into this environment, you're dwelling in that inner body. That is your anchor. Your inner body is your anchor, right? And your breath. And then focus on your breath, and you will see that everything around you, especially like people who have ADHD, ADD, suddenly that kid will become calm. Like if you just sit in one corner, right? Go to that place, sit in one corner and be still. Be very, very still. Don't say a word. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to but one thing I would say is, are you able to explain what is it that you react to?
Well, first of all, when I meditate, I do transcendental meditation, so I don't move a muscle. I think of a mantra, a word that means nothing. Brain activity slows. And you know something's crazy? I do it in the morning because you said to, right?
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
I haven't missed the morning since, really. So
Awesome.
I had this this thing, it monitors my heart rate and sleep and whatnot. Do you know that when I go into meditation, it thinks I got up, you know, brush my teeth, blah blah, go right to my meditation chair, and it thinks I got up disturbed, and I go into the meditation, and I'll get light sleep and I'll get deep sleep. It's adding to my sleep.
Okay.
And I can tell you, you know, when you find that spot where it's hard to explain, but when you go into that zero place, you know,
Right.
trying to get to that zero place without no thoughts interrupting and
Right.
whatever. But I know when I'm there, because I'm like I know I'm there. All right. So when I'm in that space, it's showing up on my app as a deep sleep.
Okay.
You know, it's interesting. So about so basically, I just wanted to get that out of the way. All right. So what am I reacting to? That was your question, right? So it's about it's just about you know, I'm reacting as far as being attacked. Like for instance, I've done more for this one individual I'm literally running her whole life, right? I mean, everything. And it was basically something simple. It was like, all I said was, hey, what's that filter doing there? It's an air filter for air conditioner, brand new. I'm thinking, why is that there? Just, I got to know because she's old, you know, what are you doing? What are you know, chucking, why are you throwing away a brand new filter? I'm thinking, you know, I just had a friend of mine go over and change it. And she said, we're trying to get you to do something. It's like trying to, and I'm like, do you think I report in every time I take care of the weeds your gardens? I do everything. I do, you know, I
No,
do.
no, hold on. So they said something like, how long are we going to wait for you to, if he had to wait for you, it would take another 10 years to get this done. Let's say they said something of that nature.
Right.
Is that close to what they may have said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is
Okay.
just fabrication.
Yeah, I understand. So the level of this goes back to the whole your soul and what is this other soul doing. That soul was born to provide you with this spiritual lesson, and the spiritual lesson is that you are waiting for their approval. You're still seeking their approval because you want them. You just now went through like a long list of, oh, I've done this.
Yeah.
That went through your mind, right?
Mhm.
So that means you're holding like a roster sheet, like an accountant P&L statement, like profit and loss statement,
I
right?
got one of them. Yeah, I got one of them.
Right? You're going, I did this for this person, and they need to be grateful for this. But that person is trying to, that soul is trying to show you that that is your ego. Your ego is keeping a list. You know, Tony Robbins
Oh
says,
no, you are absolutely right. I'm not only do I have spreadsheets of everything. I'm talking medicine. I'm talking appointments. I'm talking the
and
finance.
you have exact spreadsheets.
Okay, I'm telling you, man. I'm an Excel king. And, but no, you're right. I mean, so if basically, oh yeah, if I got taken to court, I could show.
No. So just see how the oneness that Patricia was, look at how the telepathic communication happens. I never knew that you kept Excel spreadsheets. I just gave you an analogy that you do a profit and loss statement of what you did. So what you have to do is, we recently watched Eckhart's Doorways into Presence video, and he talks about karma yoga, which is an action that is, the action itself is fulfillment by itself. It's a spiritual action, right? So your action, like if you went in and maybe changed their whole faucet thing, right? The kitchen faucet was not working and you replaced the whole thing for them, right? Your pleasure should come from the handiwork that you did with putting in the faucet. Your pleasure should not come from that person needs to say, oh, what a wonderful job you did. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Your pleasure is not going to come from that. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean,
your joy is every action. And this is what Patricia and the whole group meditation team has been watching these videos where Eckhart talks about, even if you're washing hands, your fulfillment, your joy should be in the washing of the hands, because in that whole being the bridge between energy and matter, You are experiencing your energy at that point in time. You're experiencing the energy of how it feels to wash your hands, right? He talks about making tea, right? So your fulfillment has to be in, instead of keeping this profit and loss statement with anybody, no transactional this thing. Every action has to be a sacrifice.
So
Um,
when Hugh does this, let's say he does the action, which is changing the filter or whatever he does for the other person, with that full presence and fulfillment of the action, which is means that he denounced the fruits of the action. He doesn't care if the person appreciates it or not. He just does the filter and goes on. And will that person still come back with that criticism, or because the action was done without any expectations in itself, it's just energetically for the other person will change, and they will actually maybe out of the blue just appreciate it, or just it wouldn't be a problem anymore because he just transcended the expectation. He doesn't do it for someone in order to get the approval.
So the other part to this, Hugh, is the empathy and compassion, that when a person says something of that nature, right? Oh, I do so much for you, and you don't even do this little thing. I have to wait for 10 years for you before you do anything for me, right? In that moment, so this person has such low self-esteem. This is the part of the ego you have to understand. This person has such low self-esteem, right? That in putting you down in that moment, they are rising, their ego is feeling inflated. They're feeling bigger.
Sure.
So it's okay. Let them feel bigger. Say, yeah, sorry, ma'am, that's okay. I'm sorry that I'm not available to you as much as you would like.
See, and the problem with me is it's there's drugs involved too. So I'm getting the thing about it, I didn't react right there. I went out in the car and react, but I still beat myself up for reacting.
Yeah,
I was pissed off.
but
I'm just being honest. You know?
right, but now you know what reaction what action, right action you should have. The right action is to have empathy and compassion for their mental sickness, because they're sick. All these human beings that are unconscious have a mental sickness. They're living in their minds. We cannot get them out of their mind, and they're living out of the mind is, if they didn't complain about you, they would complain about the mailman. They would
You're right.
complain about the person that did their yard. They would complain
right.
about, and their life is consumed with complaining. But
You're
that
right.
is the ego always feeling, you know, the ego lives through comparison. The ego is always going to want to feel superior. And you go, oh, I can see the mechanics that are working here, right? The manipulation that is going on. The ego is trying to feel better about itself. In one of the, there's a talk by Eckhart called St. Francis of Assisi, on St. Francis of Assisi, and he brings the example of one of the friars that was part of the St. Francis order, went to this village and was in the town square under a tree. He was doing his whatever prayer or whatever, and he wore raggedy clothes and very, you know how people, monks are in raggedy clothes, right? So the children would throw stones at him and laugh at him, and people would tease him, and he would go, bring it on, like, let the insults come, right? He would say, then one of the lawyers of the town recognized him as being a really spiritual being. So he said, oh, come, I'll give you a house and come stay in a house. And he said, no, I don't want it. Because the moment you go to a house, right, he'd much rather take on the insults than be in a nice house and being taken care of and all that. So that example Eckhart gives, saying, look, bring on the insults. When you have enough presence power, why does it matter? You know out of your heart that the divine flows through you. You did work, you put the filter, or you did something else, or you put their medications together, you gave them a spreadsheet, whatever it may be. You did everything for them, like what it needs to be done to take good care, I mean, incredibly amazing care of another human being. You've done all that, right? So done. We are done. Check mark, check mark, check mark. Like my son so many times says, you were not a good parent because probably for breakfast I bought him like he was very fussy about food, so I would just put chips and some kind of things, little Debbie snacks or whatever, so that he was like, you wouldn't even cook me some breakfast and send me to school with food. But I know how much work I have done, right? I know, like I cooked at home, like we cook a lot of Indian stuff, right? So there are a lot of different foods that I made from scratch, which were like time consuming, along with having a full-time job, being a single mother. I've done that, right? So I have no, like he can say whatever. I know how much effort I've put in. It's done. I did what I needed to do. Now he's like an adult. So no matter what they say, it doesn't matter. So no matter, so bring on the insults. Like you say, bring on the insults. It's okay. It's okay. I understand your manipulation. I understand your egoic manipulation. And in that empathy and compassion, like Patricia says, maybe they will change. Because guess what? When their soul is leaving the body, when they have their final review, they're going to see how much they hurt you.
Yeah. Well, that would be a devastating moment, let me tell you. For her.
Grateful. Try to be grateful too. It's such a change of mindset. The minute she or he does it, the way, the normal, it's like, thank you. They still remind you there's something rubbing in there is something that needs to be worked on. That you think, oh, I worked on it, but then that wouldn't bother you if you did. If it was successfully accomplished, there's still a layer, like April sometimes says, there's another layer.
Yeah.
That deeper, something really deep, because it happened to me sometimes too. I said, oh, I forgave my dad. And then all of a sudden situations or my coworkers or something act, and that brings that feeling that he gave me of this looking for the approval. It's like, I have to be recognized for what I'm doing all this good. I changed and nobody's seeing that. And then he criticizes me, and I don't react like you. I don't react. I go in my office and I sit there and I feel it. It's like, why did it bother me? It's like, so what? And then I have to look at it. And the man's like, thank you. Thank you for showing me that it's still there. And then just by understanding it, and then I would just, in my head, it's like, you know what? Thank you. And it changes. And all of a sudden I hear the energy changes. He is laughing again. It's like this whole thing that could have been blown out of proportions doesn't even matter anymore. It's so incredible, that energy of gratitude, even though how can, my ego was like, he has no right to say that in front of everybody. It's like, and then it's like, oh, thank you. Thank you.
Everything I've been through for since June, I feel like I've been on vacation. I mean, it's like going back to the boot camp, but I mean.
But you needed the rest to take care of, obviously, a big stuff. Yeah, now you kind of back, So now it's like, let's work on that. Let's see. You,
But
you
no,
are,
you know, the approval thing has really got me, man. Because I tell you that's yeah. What the hell am I doing? You know, it's like well, I don't need your.
appreciating, not appreciating.
Exactly.
It's the ego came right in,
It's
and
like we are in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and we're still seeking approval from our parents, still seeking approval from our siblings, still seeking approval from our relatives. It's like, why? Eckhart says, why does it matter whether your father or mother approves of you? Why does it matter? It does not. And do this action like he teaches in the doorways into presence. I wish you would come to our group meditation because we watch those videos. They're short 20-minute, 15-minute videos. And he teaches like the way the presence flows and the way he teaches about just do the action. You don't have to worry about the destination, just work on your journey. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy that you were present for that person in that moment, right?
Show
Enjoy
up.
that you were able, in spite of what you're going through, you can actually say to heck with everybody. I don't want to go visit anybody, right? In your position, like if I were in your position, I would say, no, I need to heal completely before I
that's
go visit anybody, right?
yeah, that's where I'm at now as far as the immune system goes. But I was thinking what you said last month about, well, you don't have to go to Thanksgiving dinner, you don't have to go over Christmas. You don't want to go, you don't go.
Right?
I'm going to tell you, if I did that, my whole family would go nuts. I mean,
But
because it's we're so
don't they realize what you are going through? Like your immune system is down. You cannot take more
they,
stress.
that's there's so much ungratefulness, man. You have no idea. It's not about me. It's about them.
What the family picture looks like. It's not
Well,
like the perfect.
the card she played was now she's got a. I have an identical twin that passed, and she's never gotten over that. And then now she's got a son with cancer. She played that card and had everybody eating out of her hand. You know what I mean? So it's all never visit me in the hospital, never visit me over here. It's so complex, you know. But I'm through all that. I mean, it doesn't. I'm telling you, like I should be
But you
actually.
know what that ego is doing, what that mental, like I said, if they don't have enough self, when you truly, back to the question, if you truly don't know who you are in your essence, you're going to do this comparison, right? And the comparison is going to be by me telling that you never visited me in the hospital, I can feel better about myself. Look how great I'm. The ego is pulling up the collar and saying, "Look at me, greatness. I survived by myself." But they're not looking at the gratitude that there were nurses there were doctors there, right? There was medical staff there at time. Those are the people that took care of you. You didn't do it by yourself,
Right.
right? Instead of saying, oh, I took care, I was in the hospital. So just realize, look at the mechanics of, there's so many people, I work a full-time job here, and I can see the moment the way a certain person says something, I can go, oh, this is what their ego is doing by saying it, like slamming me in an email or something, that they're feeling better about themselves. That's okay. Let them go ahead and feel better about themselves.
Well,
Is
so I just learned not to I don't return texts, I don't return calls. I don't have to, you know.
right. I
I'm
mean,
just
it's not like egoic. I'm so superior that I don't need to. It's just that right now you have to focus on your healing. And healing requires that unconditional love that Patricia and I are talking about. You have to continuously be in a state of unconditional love.
I'm going to tell you the only thing I can think of because I mean I've hit it out of the ballpark when every part of this I've been through, and they're just they shake their heads like I always get this, you by far, like I'm an outlier, went every bit of the way. And I'm telling you, it's because of the meditation. It's
Mhm.
because it's because of where I'm at mentally, you know, with the awareness and I'm vibrating at a higher frequency, and the people can feel it because I mean it's like they attract me, it's just and they open up. I don't even know these people, and we
Mhm.
talk like we've known each other for 10 years. I got the one guy. He's an 84-year-old man. He come back when I rang that bell thing. He come back. A week later because he was getting his treatments before me, and I was always making him laugh. I mean, crying, laughing, going into getting radiation. It was like I couldn't wait to go get radiation just to mess with this guy's head. So we would really cut up. So he hugged me and all that stuff, and he says, "Man, I love you like a brother." Like
Aw.
and he says, "We're gonna." My phone number's here. Let's connect. I said, hey, no problem. I call him up. I call him like once a week now, and
Awesome.
it's just really, really cool. I mean,
Maybe he was an angel to put, to be your
he,
buddy through
he
the
has that right. He vibrates so high. I seen him across the room. I just went right over to him, and he's just so positive, And he doesn't. I don't know what he knows about mindfulness, but I know we're like we're so much alike. It's crazy. He was a waterman. I mean, we have nothing in common as far as what we've done, but the only thing we do have in common is being positive, happy, go lucky. It's no big deal. He has stage 4, and he's looking at me like he goes, "Man, you're you're a lot worse off than me." And I'm thinking, "You're got stage 4, man. What are you talking about?" And all his stuff is gone. I don't know how he did it. So, but it's
but he is not, his body is like the beginning of the question. There's something more, and maybe he knows what we know being in this group, that you don't stop when your body stops. You're just moving to the next stage. So, and people, so disease of the body is almost like, okay, we're going through it, but whichever way it goes, that's the way I chose. So,
yeah. Well, Patricia,
right?
I told my daughter, I said, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have cancer. When she looked at me like I had 3 heads, I've accepted the isness of the situation, like Eckhart says, and
Thing,
just do whatever you got to do to get out of it. It's one step at a time.
surrender,
It's it's
surrender.
it's easy.
But because you surrender, your body actually can heal much easier than if you're fighting. There's just that more of the resistance, which is very toxic.
Oh yeah, I don't even feel like I got cancer. I feel normal.
Instead of being a victim and saying, why me? Why did God give me?
Not
And
one second that happened.
right. So
Not one
that's why
second.
that's why you're healing so well. That you didn't have a swallowing problem and everything
Never.
went well.
I
So
mean, the only time I had anxiety, I think I told you about it when I misread that thing where it had like looked like I had 3 different types of cancer, and I thought, oh, Christ, this is it. But and I had it, and I flipped out for about 30 seconds, and then reeled myself back in. But other than that, like Rob always says, I've taken the path of peace. You
where
know,
is Rob? Have you talked to him recently?
he's been off the grid. I don't know what's going on. I know he does a podcast. He interviewed me on a podcast 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
It was pretty good. Him and Hannah have these talks. They're pretty good. He's got a really nice
I
voice.
want to be on his podcast.
It's, you got to get interviewed. They're great. They get going, and it's pretty neat. You know,
I'll find a time slot
it's
on their
chit chit
podcast.
chit
What day
chats
is it?
on it's chit chats on Spotify.
Okay.
Pretty
Thank
cool.
you. Thank
But
you.
yeah, we were talking about that anyway. So um,
The one thing I would say is, how long do you do your meditation?
I can't get past 40 minutes.
I would say get past 40 minutes. Get past that threshold of 40 minutes.
What do you say?
Get past 40 minutes and do it for like maybe, or do it one more time in the evening for 40 minutes.
Oh, I didn't think about doing it again. Because
Or
Francesca
do-
said something about you're better off doing it in the morning. She was saying for some reason, but she said we'll get into that later. But I
Who's
didn't know
that?
she was Francesca.
Francesca?
Francesca, yeah.
Brain activities, so data, beta, right? Tunum alpha waves. It's just
It's better to do it in the morning, but because of your situation, I'm saying do it in the afternoon and do it in the evening, right before you go to bed.
Maybe I'll try to do it Friday night because for some reason at 9 o'clock I just go boom. You know, that's the only reason I don't go. Like I'm just something happens at 9 o'clock. Maybe I'll try meditating before I come on to meditate.
Okay.
You know,
Not just Friday night. I'm saying every day, do it extra. And you can even do the meditations that I put on Drive that I shared with you. Like the ring of water, ring of air, like 20-minute, do a 20-minute
okay.
meditation. And then
Okay.
if you get more energy, do another. I mean, don't you have the time? You have the time in the day, right, to do all these?
I don't, you know, it's funny. I have no job, nothing to do, but I don't have no time. So you tell me, figure that one out.
What?
How is it how is it that you don't have any time?
I think I'm ADD or something because I mean I'll get in wake up and I'll do I'll start on YouTube and go down that rabbit hole. I'll start looking at the Ukrainian war, the
No,
Israeli
don't do all
battle
that.
plans.
Don't do all that. Don't do all that. You're just giving your mind more things that, like, if you want to heal, right? Like the 84-year-old man and heal your stage 4, he healed his stage 4 cancer. Everything is gone. The same way, don't stop watching anything negative and like guard what you're watching. If you're not watching anything spiritual, then don't watch it. Like you're watching Eckhart, you're watching Dr. Joe Dispenza, or you're watching Rupert Spira, somebody that is very spiritual, just watch that, right? And their videos, and not even that, less of that. And there you get recover your time. So I don't watch any TV. After a very long time, last weekend or the weekend before, I watched Mission Impossible and I was traumatized because I had not watched movies in 10 or 15 years and that much violence, like so much gun shooting and everything. I could not handle it. I had nightmares.
Why did you watch it?
I mean, I like the Mission Impossible series, the very old series, like the 20-year-old back series. So I was like, maybe it is a good movie, but it wasn't that good a movie. And then I watched it. That's okay. But it gave me nightmares that night. So just imagine how shocking it is, like when you have not watched violence, right? Like I don't watch news. I don't watch anything about the wars. I don't try to concatenate, oh, why is this happening to that happening to what shadow government or what, nothing. I
Yeah,
just,
I don't react to it. I mean, that's one thing I'm
it
not.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you react or not react. You're consuming, like
I'm
you're
absorbing
being
it.
programmed. You're being programmed by whatever you're.
Subconsciously, yes. Subconsciously, it all goes in.
I never thought
So
about the subconscious part, really.
by the time I finish work, right, the only time I have is I have dinner, I shower, I meditate. Work, shower, dinner, meditate. Work, shower. I mean, like I like to, because I've been outside, I like to come back home and shower. So all we have time in the evening is work, shower, meditate.
Nothing
Have a
else.
little bit, I have a little bit extra time because I finish my work early. I have time to meditate. Patricia doesn't even find time to meditate. So work and shower, I mean, work, shower, and eat dinner is all we can do. And during dinner, if I don't watch TV or I don't listen to something, like today in the evening, I didn't listen to anything. I just ate. And that's another thing that Eckhart teaches is, can you eat consciously?
Oh, I do that.
Right? Without any watching any TV, no music, nothing. Just
I'm a mindful eater. I mean, I'm
right.
really, for real. I mean, I got the colors. I really get into it.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. But it's funny. I've been a workaholic my whole life. And it's really I see what's happened. It's some people self-medicate with alcohol or drugs or whatever. I self-medicated with work. As far as to hide from the anxiety and stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
And so I worked 7 years straight, like 16 hours a day, for like 7 days a week, and like maybe not Christmas or a holiday, but I was running a business, and so I've never been on vacation my whole life, and I was just so pre-programmed to be a machine. It's taken me all this time to unwind. This is why this whole thing's really helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had and I got a creative side. I would draw these homes up, and I would, I'm very creative, and I think that's what my mind goes for. Like if I'll get in that rabbit hole on YouTube, and it's not only that, it's looking at science, and I'm looking at all kind of
But
stuff.
look at how the mind is giving justifying that you can continue that habit. Look how the mind, just like people, like my mind, I love food. My mind would go, oh, go eat that piece of candy. That's okay. It's just a small piece. Or just eat like 5 or 6 things of chips. That's okay. It's just 5 or 6 things of chips. Now with the medical medium protocol, the candy is gone, the sugar is gone, the chocolate is gone, everything's gone. There's no more candy. There's no more justification that I can eat. I mean, it is self healing. Like it heals by itself. All this part that our mind tells us, right, justifies for us because it makes us feel good. I use food as a panacea. Like you're saying, work, right? I was a workaholic, plus food was a panacea. So we get over it. Okay, we are at the top of the hour. I know it's getting late for Patricia and you yourself, Hugh. I am eternally grateful to all of you. I know Dave just joined and Summer has been online and she actually said something for you. She said, what a gift you to get that meditative deep pattern daily. So beautiful.
I
So
just
with
That's your
that,
medicine. That's your self-medicine right there.
just
Yeah,
repeat it 3 or 4 times a day. Stop the YouTube, stop looking at things. Don't give your mind
I didn't even
food to
think of
do,
that. I didn't even think of that.
and then heal yourself.
Yeah.
So congratulations on your recovery. Keep it up,
Yeah.
okay? And with that, I'm eternally grateful to all of you. I know Christina was online with us. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
choosing your divinity over your humanity. Many blessings. I wanted to remind you all, Dr. Joe is having that Walk for the World on the 11th. So everybody sign up for the Walk for the World, as well as we are having a workshop this weekend. So looking forward to seeing you, Hugh and Patricia. And if Dave joins, looking forward.
Where do you sign up for it? I looked on his website and he only had his previous walk.
They sent email. They said if you already registered, you don't have to register again. Only
Awesome.
people who have not registered. So we've already registered. That's why we didn't get this. But if you look in your emails, you should have an email from him.
Yeah, I got a
Okay?
friend coming over and watching it with me. So
Okay. Sounds good. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Yeah.
Much love. Many blessings. Good
Hey,
night.
good night.
Bye.
Bye.